We're reading the Bible, and we are in Genesis 24, verse 15. That's where we left off. Well, it came about that before he had finished speaking, why, here coming out was Rebekah, who had been born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, and her water jar was upon her shoulder. Now the young woman was very attractive in appearance, a virgin, and no man had had sexual intercourse with her. And she made her way down to the fountain and began to fill her water jar, and then came up. At once the servant ran to meet her and said, "Give me, please, a little sip of water from your jar." In turn she said, "Drink, my lord." With that she quickly lowered her jar upon her hand and gave him a drink. When she was finished giving him a drink, then she said, "For your camels too I shall draw water until they are done drinking." So she quickly emptied her jar into the drinking trough and ran yet again and again to the well to draw water, and kept drawing for all his camels. All the while the man was gazing at her in wonder, keeping silent to know whether Jehovah had made his trip successful or not. Consequently, it came about that when the camels had finished drinking, then the man took a gold nose ring of a half shekel in weight, and 2 bracelets to her hands. 10 shekels of gold was their weight. And he went on to say, "Whose daughter are you? Tell me, please, is there any room at the house of your father for us to spend the night?" At that she said to him, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor." And she said further to him, "There is both straw and much fodder with us, also a place to spend the night." And the man proceeded to bow down and prostrate himself before Jehovah, and say, "Blessed be Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, who has not left his loving kindness and his trustworthiness toward my master. I being on the way, Jehovah has led me to the house of brothers of my sisters." Look at that. He said prostrate himself before Jehovah. Sounds like he's submitting. And the young woman went running and telling the household of her mother about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. So Laban went running to the man who was outside at the fountain. And it came about that on seeing the nose ring and the bracelets on the hands of his sister, and on hearing the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, "This is the way the man spoke to me," then he came to the man, and there he was, standing by the camel at the fountain. At once he said, "Come, you blessed one of Jehovah, why do you keep standing out here, when I myself have made the house ready and room for the camels?" With that the man came out into the house, and he went unharnessing the camels, and giving straw and fodder to the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who were with him. When something to eat was sent before him, he said, "I shall not eat until I have spoken about my matters." Hence he said, "Speak." Then he went on to say, "I am Abraham's servant, and Jehovah has blessed my master very much, in that he goes on making him greater and giving him sheep and cattle and silver and gold and men servants and maid servants and camels and asses. Further, Sarah, the wife of my master, bore a son to my master after her growing old, and he will give him everything he has. So my master made me swear, saying, You must not take a wife for my son from the daughter of the Canaanites, in whose land I am dwelling. No, but you will go to the house of my father and to my family, and you must take a wife for my son." But I said to my master, "What if the woman will not come with me?" Then he said to me, "Jehovah, before whom I have walked, will send his angel with you, and will certainly give success to your way. And you must take a wife for my son from my family and from the house of my father. At that time you will be cleared of obligation to me by oath when you get to my family, and if they will not give her to you, then you shall become free of obligation to my oath." When I got to the fountain today, then I said, Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, if you are really giving success to my way on which I am going, here I am stationed at the fountain of water. What must occur is that the maiden coming out to draw water, to whom I shall actually say, Please let me drink a little water from your jar, and who will indeed say to me, Both you take a drink, and I shall also draw water for your camels. She is the woman whom Jehovah has assigned for the son of my master. Before I was finished speaking in my heart, why there was Rebekah coming out with her jar upon her shoulder, and she made her way down to the fountain and began to draw water. Then I said to her, Give me a drink, please. So she quickly lowered her jar from off her and said, Take a drink, and I shall also water your camels. Then I took a drink, and she also watered the camels. After that I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? To which she said, The daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nahor, whom Milcah bore to him. Accordingly I put the nose ring on her nostril and the bracelet on her hands. So face jewelry seems to be permitted. Nose ring. It specifically says nose ring. And I proceeded to bow down and prostrate myself before Jehovah and bless Jehovah, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me in the true way, to take the daughter of the brother of my master for his son. And now if you are actually exercising love, kindness, and trustworthiness toward my master, tell me, but if not, tell me that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, From Jehovah this thing has issued. We are unable to speak bad or good to you. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go and let her become a wife to the son of your master, just as Jehovah has spoken. And it came about that when Abraham's servant had heard their words, he at once prostrated himself on the earth before Jehovah. And the servant began to bring out articles of silver and articles of gold and garments, and to give them to Rebekah. And he gave the choice things to her brother and to her mother. After that they ate and drank, he and the men who were with him, and they spent the night there and got up in the morning. Then he said, Send me off to my master. To this her brothers and her mother said, Let the young woman stay with us at least 10 days. Afterwards she can go. But he said to them, Do not detain me, seeing that Jehovah has given success to my way. Send me off, that I may go to my master. So they said, Let us call the young woman and inquire at her mouth. Then they called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? In turn she said, I am willing to go. Okay, I gotta remember that it's Rebekah. At that they sent off Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant and his men. And they began to bless Rebekah and say to her, O you, our sister, may you become 1,000 times 10,000, and let your seed take possession of the gate of those who hate it. After that Rebekah and her lady attendants rose, and they went riding on the camels. And following the man and the servants took Rebekah and got on his way. And now Isaac had come from the way that goes to Beer-lahai-roi, for he was dwelling in the land of Negeb. And Isaac was out walking in order to meditate in the field about the falling of evening. Oh, Isaac liked to meditate. That sounds like me. When he raised his eyes and looked, why, their camels were coming. And when Rebekah raised her eyes, she caught sight of Isaac, and she was swung herself down from the camel. Then she said to the servant, Who is that old man there walking in the field to meet us? And the servant said, It is my master. And she proceeded to take a headcloth and cover herself. She took a headcloth and covered herself. And the servant went relating to Isaac all the things he had done. After that Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother. Thus he took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he fell in love with her, and Isaac found comfort after the loss of his mother. Aww. Rebecca and Isaac, they're together. That's so cute. Okay. Genesis 25. Furthermore, Abraham again took a wife, and her name was Keturah. In time she bore him Zimran and Jokshan and Medan and Midian and Ishbak and Shua. Man, Abraham's lucky. He got to have so many children. And Jokshan became father to Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan became Ashurim and Letushim and Leumim. And the sons of Midian were Ephah and Epher and Hanoch and Abida and Eldaah. And these were the sons of Keturah. Later on, Abraham gave everything he had to Isaac. But to the sons of the concubines that Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts. Then he sent them away from Isaac his son, while he was still alive, eastward to the land of the east. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life which he lived, 175 years. Okay, here it says Abraham lived to be 175. And he lived to be 175. Then Abraham expired. Just say died. Expired and died. What? It's redundant. In good old age, old and satisfied, and was gathered to his people. So Isaac and Ishmael his sons buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, the Hittite, that is in front of Mamre, the field that Abraham had purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried, and also Sarah his wife. And it developed that after Abraham's death, God continued to bless Isaac his son, and Isaac was dwelling close by Bethraroi. And this is the history of Ishmael, the son of Abraham, whom Hagar the Egyptian, the maidservant, and Sarah bore to Abraham. Okay, I'll pause it there so that the computer doesn't freeze. Okay, family? This will be part 12, and then part 11. Okay, yeah. Oh, by the way, feel free to comment anything respectfully, right? Like, if you see a comparison that does or doesn't make sense, if you have questions, because we're all learning together. All of us theology nerds, we're all learning from each other, and it's very cool to see which one of, like, some of you are like, why did God say this and why did they say that? Like, that helps. It really does. Helps develop my understanding and everyone's understanding, really. You know, it's an open dialogue. So I love it. All right.